What else have you been lying to me about?
All of this is for you!
I can't wait to leave.
You're not going anywhere. Umma's here.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Lee, and I'm from NextShark.
Hi,
So-
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for taking the time this morning. I guess just to start off, can you start by telling me a bit about how you got involved with the project and what initially drew you to it?
Yeah, I mean, how I got involved with the project was just an initial self-tape, getting the script, seeing Sam Raimi was attached to it, and like being a really big fan of his work because I'm like a huge horror buff. And just over time, really developing this relationship with the script and really, really desiring it. So just like busting my butt off every time I did a self-tape. And then I got into the room with Sandrah, which was like a last minute thing that I found out that she was playing my mom. And I mean, the chemistry was just so magical. And then so after the chemistry read, we had a table read, and it was just glorious. The whole experience was just amazing.
What was it like getting to have Sandrah as your Umma and getting to work with her?
I mean, a dream come true, right? Like she's awesome. But she's not only awesome, she deserves her acknowledgement and her respect in the world because she really is a hardworking woman. And she really inspired me and really allowed me to be that for myself as well. And she really brought on the mother and daughter relationship on set and off set. And it was one of the best experiences of my life.
Who would you rather have as your mom in real life, her character in this film or Turning Red?
Oh, I haven't seen Turning Red, so probably this one.
Can you talk a little bit more about how you developed the character and understood and developed that relationship with who you were playing?
Yeah, so usually I just started really acting a few years ago. So what I've been doing was just like, taking a script and like kind of developing this character and like having thoughts of her and like what she's like and characteristics, and then just kind of guarding that character with myself. But Sandrah invited me to her practice of like spiritual connection to the characters. And we kind of like, we walked around, we like closed our eyes, we protected each other, we said dialogue, we like bowed down to each other, we cried together, we shared dreams together, we did so much work and spiritual connection to Amanda and Chris that when we got onto set, it was just like our life, like our own, like our personal connection. And we had COVID. So like we were about to film and then we got pushed back. So even having more months of knowing Sandrah gave me that much more of a genuine relationship with her.
Do you feel like in creating this film that it allowed you to empathize with your own family in any different ways?
Yeah, totally. 100% my mom. Like, I mean, I grew up very American, but I'm half Asian. My mom's very Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. And I think Umma allowed me to really dig deep into what my family history was like on my mom's side, which I'm 25 and I filmed this when I was 22. So the fact that it took me 22 years to really learn about that was really eye-opening, and like I not regretful because everything happens at the right time, but yeah, like now I feel so much more connected to my Asian side.
One thing that I found being mixed race, or that can be true for a lot of second, third gen immigrants, is that sometimes elements of our heritage can kind of that end up informing who we are might sneak up on us later in life very often. Sometimes we can get caught in this strange position of, inheriting or skiing shame that maybe our parents have been made to feel being different, but also for those of us who are like Chris and don't speak a lick of Korean, it can feel sad or embarrassing or to be estranged from that part of ourselves. So what was it like to have all of these both very subtle and then very explicit references to Korean culture throughout the film? And how did your background kind of influence how you understood Chris?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too far from Chris, you know, like you said, like even not speaking like a lick of Korean, like I always get that, like you know, I mean, I I feel very, I look very American Asian and native. And so when people are like, "Oh, do you speak any of your languages, your like home languages?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, I don't." And they're like, "Oh, like it's like immediate like judgment." So like for me to connect to Chris was super easy because like that's also my life. Like I am very similar to Chris. I am Asian. My mom is Asian, but I'm very American, and that's how Chris was raised. So I don't think that there was any hard work going into how she really feels because that's how I feel. I know like a lot of like full Asian women look at me and they're just like looking me up and down. They're like, "Oh, you're a fake. Like you're not really Asian." And like it's so disheartening. Like when I go into restaurants, specifically an Asian restaurant, I like try to like I like be very respectful. I like take on this other part just so I can be seen by like Asian people.
What was it like being on that set and in such a rural environment throughout the film? Did that kind of change how you interacted with your environment and developed your character?
um I mean, being on set, I oh gosh, it was so Sandra and I all the time. So and like when I remember just working so hard every day and then just going home and like sleeping so deeply. But every time I went to set, it was just, I mean, it was a wonderful experience. Like, and I don't say wonderful, like, oh yeah, it was wonderful. Like it was just so amazing. Like everyone on set was so, it was a passion project. Like Zainab, one of the producers, Sam Raimi's assistant, it was her first like real film. And so this was her baby. And so to step on set with that knowledge of like, we are all in this together was just, I mean, a dream come true. Like it's awesome.
What kind of mom do you think Chris would go on to become, and what kind of scars do you think might impact her relationship with her daughter going into the future?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I definitely think that I mean, clearly she loves her Korean side, you know, with the ceremony at the end, and she's so down and she's like, you know, at first she's like, "What are you doing? Like, you've never talked about this stuff. Why are you forcing me to do this stuff?" And then at the end, you see her really develop a relationship with her Korean side, and so does Amanda. So I think that Chris as a mother would be that I mean, you know, every generation is similar to their previous generation, but maybe a little bit better of like understanding and more balance. So hopefully Chris would have a correct balance of like Asian American, genuine Asian American, uh, I guess, combination of the two.
Lastly, in what ways, if any, have you been surprised to realize that you've become or are becoming your own parents?
Oh my God. I mean, like, aren't we all? Like, I know, I mean, like my dad and my mom are so different. And I feel like, I mean, my mom is just high off of life. She is a scuba diver and she sells makeup and she's like 5'2" and she's like a shorter woman, but she's like strong and like just freaking so energized. And I feel like I can be that. Like I feel like I could be bouncing off the walls like 100 miles per hour. And my dad is like this 6'4", like, you know, burly man and like mustache, beard and everything, and very like serious and like very powerful. And I also feel like, I mean, I feel like I'm really just, I don't even know who I'm more like because I have days where I'm like, whoa, I feel like my dad, and whoa, I feel like my mom. I need to calm down.
Best of both worlds. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for taking the time this morning.
Yeah, thank you so much. You as well.
Good chatting with you.